So let's directly dive into the subject. What we are going to talk today is dress the way you want to be addressed. And of course, this is one of the most sensitive and the most delicate topics that we can talk about, because it's about the way we wear our clothes, which is our second skin, something which we are so possessive and so personal about. So I urge all of you to have a little open mind and a little accommodating mind, so that certain discussions where you might find it coming a little heavy, or you might find that this is something which I never thought about, you have the space to accommodate that. Having said that, let me actually start the session by wishing you all a wonderful 2022. And all I hope is love and peace for all of us. We all have been through a huge turmoil, but 2022, fingers crossed that if nothing else, we at least have love and peace in the year. To tell you a little bit about me and my background, I'll be real quick in that. I academically am a civil engineer, but it was not too long that I remained a civil engineer. I rather turned to an image consultant. And since 2010, I'm into this industry of image management and training, coaching, and stuff like that. And if I have to wrap up my entire professional journey, I would just say that in one line. It's like my one-line story, which says that I've moved from engineering buildings to engineering personalities. So like they say, once an engineer, always an engineer. So engineer in me never died. It's just that instead of building, now it works on the personalities. And one thing which has come to me as a realization in these 10 years is, if I want to be successful, I have to focus on the success of my clients. That's where I say that my success lies in making you successful. If I can play the most minor role in your success, I feel that's my success. So this is my mantra for my work, that I have to keep this in mind. My success lies in the success of my clients. And of course, life has been great. I've got wonderful opportunities to work with some of the best MNCs across the country, couple of international assignments as well, some really good awards nationally and internationally. But if I have to talk about just one thing which I really feel is very close to my heart, and I'm thoroughly proud about it, is the book that I wrote. And the book is titled, If You're Not Seen, You're Lost. So it's not that I want to boast that I'm a writer, I'm an author, but the fact that I could dedicate the book to Indian Armed Forces, I mean, all three, the Navy, Air Force, and the Army, more happy I am about the fact that the very first order of my book, even before it was published, was from the headquarters, Kargil headquarters. And more surprisingly, it was not because I knew somebody there. It was just through social media that they came to know that I've written a book dedicated to Indian Army. And I got a message from that we would want to have your book as a part of our library. And the very first order of my book, I personally dispatched to Kargil headquarters. And I think that's the biggest win of my entire career. So that's how my journey has been. And it's since last 10, 12 years that I have been walking around with people from different domains of life. And the most major focus has been, how can we use our available resource, which is our dressing, our clothing, our grooming, our body language, how can we use that as a resource so that we are successful? I mean, of course, being successful has to have a lot of parameters, but one of the most underutilized resource is our clothing. And today in this entire session, we are going to dwell around certain points, as in how can we dress for success? And if I want to be addressed in a particular way, why is it important for me to figure out that this is the way I want to dress? So let me take you back on a beautiful date, 14th February 2021. Now, when I say 14th February, of course, it's a Valentine's Day, and we all have a very peculiar smile on the face when I talk about this date. And I have a peculiar smile on my face with this date is because on this date, we launched something called Image Pledge. So we all take a lot of pledge, right? We take the national pledge or the pledge for the company that you work with or whatever it is. On this day, last year, we launched something called Image Pledge. And that pledge was a pledge to be taken out of the love and respect for our own self. And that's where this beautiful line came across: dress the way you want to be addressed. So if you're somebody who has ever followed me on social media or ever seen me doing something, you would know that this is something we have been talking for 1 year. And after 1 year, it's not even 1 year yet. After 1 year, this is the session that I'm doing, dress the way you want to be addressed. And that's where you think that certain things are just divinely gifted to you, this being one of that. So let's actually embark on the journey now. I want you to see this video without any prejudice in the mind. Okay, so I'm going to stop share here. I want some quick responses. What is it that, and don't worry, Divya, I didn't really have any sound. It just had some peppy music playing around. So you haven't missed anything in terms of sound. But if somebody can put it in the message, so what's your interpretation out of this particular video? Clean dustbin, okay. But clean dustbin as in what? What do you infer from this video? What's your understanding from the video? Impression matters a lot. Okay, Shivani, that's wonderful. Any other interpretation from the video? Clean dustbin was picked up by the guy even to put the trash. I just love this, Divya. Even when it's about throwing the trash, where it doesn't really matter where you put it, we still look forward to putting the trash in something which is a good dustbin, which is a better dustbin. And that's exactly what it means. That's how important it is, that the way you present yourself is the way people are going to pursue you, people are going to think about you. So that's the very message of this video. Coming back, I have a quick question for you. I'm going to show you two pictures, picture A and picture B. I want you to identify, according to you, who's the businessman. And I'm going to give you some seconds to do that, because I don't really want to get into a thinking mode and do that. What does your impulse tell you? Out of A and B, who do you think is the businessman? You can put that in the chat room. You can put it in the chat. This is A, this is B. Who do you think is the businessman, A or B? A, okay, wonderful. I'm going to ask you another questions. I'm going to give you two options, and which out of those two salads would you want to pick, salad A or salad B? Which would you pick out of these two, A or B? Both are salads, of course. A, okay. We have all consistent answers. Everybody wants to go with A. Okay. Now, if we go back to the video that we saw, choosing the better dustbin, the cleaner dustbin, or about deciding who out of these two is actually the businessman, or trying to pick up which is actually the good or the better, better salad that I want to pick up. What we have done, knowingly or unknowingly, is only based on the information that meets your eyes, only based on certain basic information, the cues that you see in couple of seconds, we come to a decision only and only based on the first impression that we have formed about that person or that thing. And you'll be surprised to know that this is not something that you do. This is something that happens. You don't have a choice of whether do I want to do this or do I not want to do that. This is something which happens by default. You and me, we all as human beings are hardwired to make quick first impressions about everything, whether it's a human being, whether it's a dustbin, whether it's a food plate, whether it's anything in front of us. We form a fast first impression. And more surprising than that, we don't assume, we start judging. We come to decisions based on those quick first impressions. And when I say that we come to quick impressions, I want all of you to think about this and answer in a yes or a no. We are not sitting on fence saying maybe, sometimes. It has to be a yes or a no. These are the kind of questions or the kind of thoughts we have in our mind. And we are just going to have a look at those questions and see how many questions do we have a strong yes as an answer. So let me ask the questions now. Do you ever check out the way people are dressed? What are people wearing? How are they dressed? Yes, we all do. Do we ever see how well groomed they are? As in, how neat is the hair? Do they stink? Are the nails clean? Are the shoes polished? All yes, great. Do we ever notice the colors that they are wearing? Are they too bright? Are they too dull? Is it too much? Is it too loud? Is it too jarring? Again, a lot of yes. Do you ever glance at the footwear? What kind of shoes is this person wearing? Is it polished? Is it in a good condition? Are the shoes clean? Are the shoes appropriate for the occasion? Again, a lot of yes. Always. I love that, Shivani. Do you feel good when people wear neat and ironed clothes while they meet you? It's not about wearing something very branded or very costly. It's just about basic people wearing good ironed clothes, neat. We all love that. Do you ever get distracted by loud patterns? Somebody wearing huge patterns, very busy patterns, something that's very distracting, something that doesn't make you feel comfortable. We all do that. And finally, do you feel annoyed with somebody wearing too many accessories? It's a little noisy. It's all over the hand, all over the face, in your nose, in your ears. Too much. It's too much of accessories. Do you feel that that annoys you? No. Okay. Okay. So these are supposed to be choosy answers. Okay. So now, since most of the people have answered yes to most of the questions, I have one final question to you. If we think that we get annoyed or we get distracted or we give attention to certain details while we meet people, don't you think that we are also treated in the same way? Don't you think that when we step out, people do check out the way we are dressed? They do see how groomed we are. They do notice the color that we wear. They do glance at the footwear that we wear. They do feel good if we have proper ironed clothes. Don't you agree that they get distracted if you are wearing loud patterns? Would you not agree that too many accessories, if that is something which annoys you, it is also something that annoys people? And most of the time we miss on these little pointers, thinking that who's even looking at that? Who's even bothered about that? But let me tell you a fact of life. Elephants don't bite, but mosquitoes do. We all know that elephants are huge. They might just hurt anybody. But if I ask how many people in this room have actually got hurt by a huge animal like an elephant, I'm sure probably nobody, maybe one or two. But if I ask you, how many of you have faced problem due to a mosquito? I have. Most of us have faced problem with a mosquito, not with an elephant. And that's exactly what happens into the life. We always look at the bigger things, but the problems are coming out of the smaller things, which we tend to overlook. And why do we judge? Do you remember I told you something like, it's not what you do. Forming a first impression based on a little information available to you, it's not something you do. It is something that happens by default. We as humans are hardwired for that, only for the reason that our brain, our mind works like a camera. What would a camera do? Look here, there, click pictures. Exactly same way your mind also operates like a camera. It clicks pictures, and it's easy for your mind to remember what it sees as against remember what it hears. To be very honest, out of the 60-minute conversation that we are going to have today, I'm sure you're not going to remember more than probably 15-20 minutes of what I said. In spite of you having a in spite of you having the 100% intent of listening with all your heart, you would still not be able to retain more than something like 15-20 minutes. But whatever you see, those images, that's going to stay with you for a very long time. Why? Because the human mind works like a camera. And that's exactly why your dressing becomes so important when you're creating first impressions, when you're meeting people around. Now, when we talk about dressing, one and the most prominent is something called stereotyped images. So if you look at the picture, you see two guys. Obviously, these are the two guys. These are not two guys. It's the same one guy. The one who's wearing the stethoscope, who's wearing the doctor's coat, if at all you have somebody who's in emergency, needs a dressing or a surgery or needs some kind of an attention from a doctor, you would allow the guy in the white coat, you would completely surrender and allow him to do whatever he thinks is right for the patient. But the same guy, if he is not wearing the doctor's coat, you would be really skeptical that do I even hand over this person, this patient to this fellow? You're not sure whether he'll be able to do justice to that person. Why? Because you see absolutely no cue which would allow you to trust him. And that's where you will be a little skeptical. But the moment you see what you're supposed to see, you have a bigger faith in that person. And I'm giving you this example because this is very obvious, something that we all have experienced. But trust me, every segment, every domain has a stereotypical image. If this person is dressed in a particular way, this is the kind of job he does. This is the kind of level of the job that he does. We all have these typical images of the stereotypical images of the people walking around. And I'll tell you something very interesting. They say that you never dress for the job you have. You always dress for the job you want, the next level job. So if today you're working as an executive and you want to get promoted, you don't have to wait that I get promoted and then I dress accordingly. You have to start dressing for the next level job. And that kind of speeds up your process of being there. So the very first thing while you're dressing is the stereotypical images. Second would be occasions. So what is the occasion? You definitely want to take care of that. If the dressing is not right for the occasion, in spite of that being one of the best pieces, it's not well received. So if you look at this picture, it has 4 forms of blazers, or I may say a suit. I mean, not exactly a suit, but the first, if you see, it's purely a business suit. So you can make out from that suit that the person is a typical businessman going for a business meet or a conference wherein he has to show his authority. But when you move to the second picture, you can figure out that this is, of course, the person is going for an important occasion, but he is not a very authoritative person, or probably the occasion is something like the gala dinner at the conference, not the business occasion, but a subsidiary of that. If you look at the third, you can see that the jacket is not a typical jacket with a collar and a lapel. it's a smart jacket. It's some of those new trendy designs. And you can figure out that here comes a man with a versatile mind. And if you look at the fourth, it's absolutely dressy. Unless and until you're going for a dressy event, you would really not put yourself into that jacket, which means that the kind of occasions you are into, that's extremely important. You need to dress according to the occasion. Even your day-to-day occasions, if we look at now, because we have so many options, we are going to make more mistakes as well. So your regular shirts also, if you see, the one, those are absolutely formal, full sleeves, proper collar, white color, absolutely professional, absolutely formal. But the next shirt, it's exactly the same, full sleeves, white color, but just because the collar is a Mandarin collar, it it doesn't look so very formal. Maybe that's good for your evening occasions and stuff like that. For your daily wear, there are again three choices, and you can easily make out the one that you see in the red, blue, and the white stripes. The last one, that's definitely not an office wear, but that is still a striped shirt with collars. So you need to figure out what's the occasion and what am I wearing for? What am I dressing for? And of course, it's not only for men, it's for women as well. In fact, for women, I would categorically say more choices, more mistakes. At least, sorry, at least for men, because they have less choices, they are kind of sorted, if not really. Because women have so many choices, more confusion, more mistakes. So again, how do you dress? What is the kind of attire that you put on to the office? That hugely decides how are you addressed by people. And there are numerous examples we see around how people are treated based on the dresses that they wear, based on the attire that they put on. Now, one question which I get very often, a lot of people say that, well, that's okay, we agree to that, but then we wear uniform. Because we have to wear uniform, we really don't have to think about all those things. And I feel that even if you're wearing uniform, you still need to take care of that. Because when I go to companies for trainings and I see people wearing uniform, one or two out of them really stand out in the way that they carry their uniform. And few others, when they wear the uniform, I feel like, is that an insult? I mean, how can you take your uniform so casually? That's something which you possess because you have a position. And I feel that if in case you have uniform, yes, your job is sorted. You don't really have to rack your head every morning, what do I wear? But you do need to take care about how and what are you wearing. So one, your feet is extremely important. You don't want to wear something which is too big or too short for you, especially when it is uniform. You also want to see that the zip line and the button line, that's actually aligned. Because a lot of times you'll see, like the middle picture that you see, if that's not aligned, it doesn't really give a very good finished and a unified look. So that's another thing you want to take care. And the most important point, people don't press their clothes. And I feel like if ever your clothes get a chance to speak, they're going to scream at you that the least we need is, please iron us. You need to iron your clothes. One, they look very good. Two, that's going to increase the life of your precious clothes. So you do want to make sure that whatever you are investing in, whether it's a uniform or it's your regular wear, you need to take care of your clothing and you need to wear something which is for you. Now, when we say this, a lot of people have this question. So does it mean that we need to wear branded? Is it that anything that is branded is nice? And let me tell you out of my own experience, first, I'm not a very brand conscious person. So that's what I have lived all this life. Branded is good, but that's not the only option. A lot of times I've seen people investing so much of money in their clothes, in their accessories, be it the shoes or the specs or the perfume, whatever they buy, all of that is branded. Huge amount of money goes into that, but a very little amount of thought gets into it. And when there is too much money, but no thought involved, results obviously are not as good as they are anticipated to be. So when you wear branded, it's not necessarily always nice. What if you're wearing branded, but that's not the right fit? It's either too loose for you or it's either too tight for you. Now, I'm not very happy about putting the picture here, but that's the fact of life. And we all have seen this kind of pictures, this kind of things happening around us. So that's really not a very good sight, but unfortunately a fact. So one, it has to be the right fit for you. You need to understand what's my body shape, what's my height, what's my weight, what kind of body shape do I have overall, what kind of clothes are actually going to make me look a little more pleasant, a little more attractive. And then you want to invest in those kind of things rather than going just by the brand name or just by just getting attracted to the sale that the brands get into. So that's not always the only right way to purchase. Second, and extremely important, is people often don't understand what their personal style is. So you need to identify that what is that piece of clothing which I feel is my piece of clothing. The best example, I'm sure it's not a new example, we all have heard 101 times about that. If it's not your personal style, it's not going to suit you. How many times have we heard people criticize Vidya Balan for her dressing choice? And how many times have we seen her appearances or movies where she is dressed beautifully in Indian attire and she looks amazingly beautiful in spite of all the weight that she has gained? And mind you, it's not about being slim or fat. It's more about what you resonate with, which is that clothing piece which kind of talks to you that I belong to you, or something like, please wear me. Those are the clothes that's your personal style. If we fail to identify that this is my personal style, it obviously means that you're not really comfortable in whatever you are wearing, and that's not going to allow you to work at your best mental thing. So a lot of people say, how does it matter? I mean, whatever we wear. But if you're not dressed well and somebody comments negatively on that, you would observe that a huge amount of your brain gets preoccupied that, am I not looking good? Am I not well dressed? Am I not appropriate for the occasion? And that kind of saps your mental energy. That kind of drains you. But we as image consultants believe in this one thing, that put your 100% before you dress. And once you're dressed, you just have to forget that, because you know that what you have done is absolutely right for you, keeping in mind who you are, what kind of job do you do, what kind of personal style do you have. So that doesn't allow you to drain that energy. Instead, you use that energy productively in your work. So a lot of people also feel that, image consulting is more about superficial. It's probably being glamorous. It's probably about being fashionable. What I have felt and observed in other people is the correct information of image management, in fact, helps people to be more productive in their work. And the third point, what if it's not your color? It's extremely important. I mean, we being Indians, we have this wrong notion in our mind that we can't wear all the colors because our skin tone is a little darker, not as fair as the Westerners or the Europeans or the Australians. The matter of fact is that we are the ones blessed who can practically wear any color. But when it is said that we can practically wear any color, it does not literally mean any color in any way. Somebody who is belonging to one of the biggest families of the country has an access to all international brands, whatever is the price tag. I don't think she has to ever look at the price tag. But when she did this at one of the major events globally, she was criticized, and for right reasons, which means that even if you are who's who and your choice of color is not right, it's not going to help you. Which means that it does not matter whether your choice is a branded choice or not. It has to be something which is appropriate, which has to be right for you. Now, why do we stress so much on that? I want to explain this little concept behind that. This is something which we say is image cycle. Now, obviously, because it's a cycle, it keeps working. If you pedal, if you put some effort, if you're conscious about it, the cycle is working in the right direction. But the moment you stop pedaling, the moment you stop putting in your effort, that starts working in reverse. The only thing is, image cycle never stops. If you pay attention, it works for you. If you don't pay attention, it starts working against you. That's the only scenario. Now, what does this image cycle say? It says that the way you dress and groom, the way you decide that, okay, I'm going to wear this, I'm going to groom myself in this way, that's going to highly influence the way you think and act. Now, it's very obvious that if you have a particular pattern of thinking and feeling about things, that's going to influence the kind of actions you take. It's going to influence the way you behave with people around. And it's a no-brainer if I say that the way you behave is how other people are going to behave or respond back to you. Now, when I say that dress the way you want to be addressed, if you have a particular idea in your mind, let's say I want to be addressed with respect. So that brings us to the fourth step, which says that the way others react and respond, my idea is people should behave with due respect with me. If I want that respect, the first thing I need to do is I have to act and behave in a way that would fetch me respect. If I have to act and behave in that way, I have to start thinking and feeling in that way. Now, if I have to cultivate a particular pattern of thinking or feeling, there are 101 ways of doing that. However, out of my experience of training more than 10,000 people till now, various corporates, various levels, various industries, I have realized that there are two ways that people can do that. One is you start working on your inner self with all the traditional ways of doing it. The way is you start from working on the outside and then instill that change inside. Now, when we compare these two ways, the first way is going to take a lot of time, a lot of energy, and a lot of patience. And unfortunately, these are the three things we don't have today. However, we look at the second way, it's faster, it's easier, and it's giving you results which you can see right away. So whenever you think that there's something that you want to change in the way people are behaving with you, you can start thinking about changing your dressing and changing your grooming, and that will eventually take you to the final step where, because you have changed the way you dress, you would see that people have changed the way they address you. And this works beautifully in a sync with everything else. Your dressing, grooming is going to influence your thinking, your acting, or your behavior. That's going to change how people behave back with you. And to give you an example, this is one of my most favorite examples I can think about around this. These are two wonderful ladies, and I'm sure that nobody needs an introduction. We all know who they are. They are brilliant at the skill. They both can sing amazingly beautiful. But now, if we compare them, not for their skills, but for their lifestyles, Asha Bhosle is somebody who's all colorful, who's all live, who's all out there, meeting people, talking to them, dancing, singing, bubbly, colorful. Against that, when you think about Lata Mangeshkar, she's a very silent, very sober person, hardly making any public appearances, would not really want to go out and sing at every occasion. Dancing is something which you can't even think when you think about Lata Mangeshkar. Now, this is their outer persona. Now, let's think about the kind of songs that they sing. Not who sings better than who, but the choice of the songs. Now, if we look at that, Asha Bhosle, and that would remind you of all those peppy numbers, all those disco songs, cabaret songs, fun songs. Does not mean that she can't actually sing those patriotic songs or the very soft classical songs. She can, and she has. But what you remember about Asha Bhosle is those peppy songs. Similarly, when you think about Asha Bhosle, "Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo" is what comes to your mind. You think about patriotic or very classical soft songs, or maybe even spiritual songs. Does not mean that she has never sung any of those cabarets or the fast songs. She has, and she can. But the choice is something that even reflects in the choice of the clothes that they make. And that's where I have full conviction that your image matters. The way you dress is the way people are going to address you. So if I have to wrap this up and tell you one most sensational lesson I have learned over the period of time, not communicate, which means probably you will think that grammatically this is a wrong sentence because you can't have two negations in the same sentence. But that's exactly what makes this sentence so powerful. You cannot not communicate. Which means that you may choose not to speak. But just because you choose not to speak does not mean that you are not communicating. Even your silence communicates something. Even your silence has a lot to speak. And people do hear that. How do they hear that? Because you don't only hear with your ears, at times you also hear with your eyes. And what you hear with your eyes is way more powerful than what you hear with your ears. So always remember that you cannot not communicate. And before I wrap up, let me just say, these are some really big shots, talking about the entire globe. And all of this had something to say about how it influences, how the way you dress is going to influence. And my personal about this, out of all of this, is what Zig Ziglar said. You cannot climb the ladder of success dressed in the costume of failure. It's just not possible. Of course, I love all of this. That's actually the reason they are here. But my personal favorite happens to be what Zig Ziglar said. You cannot climb the ladder of success while you're dressed in the costume of failure. So with that, I'll rest. And thank you so much. Of course, Karishma, for your beautiful words. HR Milestone for giving me one more opportunity for connecting with all these wonderful people here. And I hope I have been able to add some value. Thank you so much.